Hello. Okay, so I'm cooking on the fly, which means I pulled whatever I had out of my fridge. Kind of look. I'm really hungry. Let's see what I can go with. Don't worry, I actually did do some prep work. You're gonna see me disappear off screen every now and again to grab stuff like maybe a cutting board or to grab plating, skillets of the whole night. So I am Raven. Hello. And I don't know what's the best way to describe what I do. I'm your happy kitchen demon. I am the devil. I like to tempt people into doing things that they didn't think were possible. Much like cooking, because apparently quite a few people don't think they can cook. You can, trust me, you can. So, I am soy free, gluten free. I just found out a couple months ago that I have an autoimmune disease that does not like soy, does not like gluten. I've had some very serious complications from it. So, had to change my diet. That's what I did. So now I do a lot of cooking from fresh because every time I go out to eat, I end up feeling really, really sick, which tells me there's more soy and gluten components out there in foods than one would think. I went to a place, got some soup. Turns out that they probably used flour to help thicken it and ended up just feeling really not good for quite some time. Soy is even worse for me. Anyways, so what did I find? Well, I did find in my fridge eggplant. I also found acorn squash, which is a Japanese acorn squash. Love this stuff. When cooked correctly, kind of sweet. It's actually a really good substitute for pumpkin, for sweet potato, for yam. It's a great food to have around. Needs to usually be slow cooked. That's why I cut it up real small and thin, is so that it goes into the pan and it cooks up a little bit faster. Anyways, I put lemon, garlic, and a little bit of salt into a bowl full of water because eggplant can be very, very bitter, and you can help some of that bitterness by giving a little bit of a soak. I've let this soak for a while. Let me pour this out. Now that soak also means that the vegetables and stuff in there have soaked up some extra water, which is actually really good. I also have rice because I like to make rice in slightly larger quantities, and it's okay to have it the next day because it's very easy to reheat in a pan. If you can, don't microwave your food. Microwaving, you never get an even heat on it. Not to mention, I mean, just if you heat it on flame, it just tends to taste better. It's heated through correctly. You can keep your eyes on it. You can get maybe a little bit more char on it if you want. But yeah. Okay, let me see. Okay. Gonna grab a couple of small skillets. Okay, so I'm gonna move you over a little bit and put you a little bit closer to the action. That way you're not looking at me from this side. Hey. Cool. And it'll be easy enough for me to... Ah, okay, there you go. So yes, so now you can see I'm working with two pans. Beyond that, what did I grab? Extra thing of garlic, clove or tooth, a little bit of sweet corn, because I kind of want to freshen this up, and a little bit of sliced pork. You can do beef, you can do chicken, you can do whatever you like. I like to buy it in larger quantities, piece them out into smaller portions, that way I can grab and go, and that way I'm not defrosting large portions or small portions or having to go out every day. I'm set more or less for a week or two buying a larger portion. Give me a second. I really want to grab one of the key ingredients. There we go. Okay. Okay, so this is one of my favorites. Green onion. I just cut it up beforehand. It actually keeps really well in a Tupperware, especially if you have a very cold refrigerator. And gochujang. And I don't know if you can see this. Trust me, I'm not even trying to like get sponsorship, although, I'm just saying. But this is the brand that I buy because it doesn't have soy and it doesn't have gluten. All the other brands that I was trying out, looking through, doing, research on, they all had soy or gluten, and it made for not fun because I love spicy food, but both of those really messed me up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do what I normally do with rice. So about a cup of rice, you want about a quarter cup of water to add with it, so when you stir it up, it's all where you want it to be. Okay, gonna give it a moment to settle itself. Okay, so since the eggplant and the squash are going to take a little bit longer to cook, I'm going to go ahead, throw on medium-high heat. Touch of oil, let that heat up for a bit. Forgot a small thing to mix in. Now, feel free to comment, chat, and talk to me, because, hey, I have no problems talking back. Okay, so with my gochujang, I am going to put in a nice big scoop of it. So, it's roughly about a tablespoon or two. Probably closer to 2. On top of that, I am going to add a touch of ajimirin, which is a sweet cooking liquid. And again, no soy, no gluten. That's just to kind of loosen it up just a touch. And I'm going to mix the two around so that they actually incorporate. I think my skillet's almost hot enough on that side. Okay, good. So the paste is a little bit looser now, which makes my life happy. Garlic clove needs to be quickly peeled. Everybody thinks that all of your flavor will come from salt, or other certain types of herbs and spices. Well, they're right about that. A dash of salt is a good thing. A dash. And if you really want to, onions, garlic, all of those are, all the shallots, any number of those are actually really good for quite a strong hit of taste. Also ginger, quite shabby, also really good for the stomach. So if you have kind of an upset or finicky tummy, often ginger can help that quite a bit. Okay, so got that nice and hot. Yep. Don't worry, nothing's on fire, we're good. Sorry, that was the lime rind. Okay. So we're gonna we're gonna let that cook for just a bit. I'm gonna shift it. Ah, there we go. Now you can see it. We're gonna let this cook for just a bit. I want it to actually soften up and do its thing. Let me see if I can find a lid. Maybe that. Okay. So yes, lids are your friends. Okay, so a lid basically traps in the steam, traps in the heat, traps in a little bit of pressure. And, oh, what am I thinking? No, I don't need any of those. I need this. Gochujang! So this is the gochujang mirin mix. Okay. And I want to make sure there's as much in there as possible. Pardon me, using my fingers. Doot. Now, if you are sensitive to spice, be really careful what you do with this stuff because it's chili paste. If you're demented like I am, eat it. Okay, washing up the hands. Okay, so I'm going to let this do its thing for a little bit. Let it cook down for at least a couple of minutes. For the rice, I'm actually going to add the corn and the rice together. So, again, I'm going to turn you just a little bit. Okay, so, sorry, that was the wrong thing. Oil. We're having a lighting issue. There we are. Okay, so if you ever have a lighting issue, especially on a gas stove, especially if you can hear it clicking, sometimes it means the airflow is not mixing correctly with the gas. Pure gas does not ignite by itself, but gas, when mixed with oxygen at I believe it's a 6 to 9% rate. Sorry, I wasn't great with stoichiometry. That's where the biggest ignition point is. So when you hit about 6 to 9% saturation of oxygen, there you go, you have ignition, and then some. But yeah, just if you hear it clicking, but you don't see it doing its thing with actual fire, wave your hand briskly past through real quick. It forces oxygen in and past the spark, so that hopefully you get the right mixture. Now, if you sit there and you wave like 2, 3, 4 seconds, it's still not, and you smell gas, turn it off. Trust me, just turn it off. Fire can be scary, but if you know what you're doing, it's slightly less scary. Okay, we're going to turn this down just a touch, because I want it to cook itself slowly and do its thing. Okay, so we've got a little bit of oil in here, got a little bit of garlic in here, got a little bit of corn. And the reason I'm doing the corn first is because I want some scorch on it. And this corn will actually do most of the oil absorption that I need to do. Because truthfully, I want the corn to absorb that kind of good garlicky flavor. And don't worry, I'm working on a different setup, so you're not always going to be on a phone. I'm going to work to get bigger and better and whatnot. So far, it's been about 15 minutes, and mostly that's been me talking and wandering around for things. Okay. So I've got it on nice, a super high heat, because again, I want it to do its thing. I want it to do it. Okay. Breaking apart the rice just a little bit more. And yes, I'm very, very, very finicky about my fingertips. So when I get my hands dirty, to where I feel is a gross point, which, is quite often. Okay. Okay. Got it going pretty good. I know, it's a very large amount. Trust me, I'm not eating that whole thing. Basically, I'm making this for a couple of meals. I actually had stomach surgery, the really massive one, about 14 years ago. So my stomach is literally less than the size of my fist. I have to eat slowly, and if I try and cram too much in at once, I end up feeling really sick. But if I sit and eat nothing, because I don't exactly have a hunger response, if I sit and eat nothing, of course, my metabolism will tank itself even worse, because it goes into the hibernation mode, or starvation mode, where it thinks, oh, okay, there's no food, so we gotta store. Welcome to the story of my life, right? Anyways, let that do its thing for a bit. Oh, yeah, that looks so good. Okay. So the eggplant is getting nice and soft. The Japanese acorn squash is also getting nice and soft. Oh, it smells so good. Slightly sweet, slightly spicy. And I literally added a pinch or so of salt to the water, but I haven't really added any salt past that. There is a bit more salt in the chili paste. Again, which is another reason I don't need to add more salt. Check your ingredients list just to see what's on them. That way you know if you actually need to add something or not. It helps. Sorry, washing my spatula. Okay. I want this to take on a bit of color. A great way to help yourself eat better is to, not just cook for yourself, but cook with different colors and kind of make it an art project. Because a lot of eating first begins with, well, what does it look like? And then it goes to, okay, well, what does it smell like? So don't be afraid to try some fun, interesting, different things just because you haven't before. Trust me, most of the cooking I've done over the last couple of months was, I wonder if. Did some research, looked around, well, yeah, that looks good, and I guess I'll try that. And some of it was amazing, and some of it was, possibly because I didn't cook it correctly. Possibly just because it's not in my wheelhouse. Maybe it's that I was just never exposed to the food, or it very well could just be I actually have a latent allergy to it, and my body's telling me, yeah, no, go ahead and pass on this. This is not going to be good for you. So, there are times that you need to listen to your body. Now, my brain's already thinking about plating, because that's how I work. That's how I roll. And today's plate, this. And I know it may not seem like a huge plate, which it's not, but it holds more than enough food for me. And truthfully, if you set your expectations up for eating, this much, giant plate of food, then you end up overstuffing yourself a lot. We tend to serve large portions here in America. I know, but you know what? I'm going to do my best to do my part for me. If you like eating huge portions, go with it. If big portions are what fill you up and make you feel right, go with it. For me, I eat smaller. That's just me. I have a very slow metabolism though. I'm working on it, but it is what it is. This is me. This is how I function. Okay, so we're going to turn you just a little bit so you can see some of the plating that I'll be doing. And I will move some of this out of the way. Okay, so spatula, don't need the knife there. I'm sure you can hear the gorgeous sound of the rice going on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, I want to make sure that everything's cooked. So a good way to do that, oh yeah, perfect. Okay, so a good way to do that is take a spoon or fork and just kind of gently press through using the side of it. And if it just slides through, you're pretty much good to go. If you like a little bit firmer, you want to stop maybe a couple minutes earlier. If you really wanted to just go to mush, fine, cool, but again, that's all to one's own personal taste. Okay. Now, if this dish that I'm making has like a name, because literally I'm just like, oh, this sounds like a good combination of food and throwing it in. But if it has an actual name or somebody knows a dish that is very similar to this, please let me know. I'd love to know. Okay. So, fire goes back on. Wrong one. Okay. Okay, so that fire is going back on in the larger one, because I'm going to make it nice and hot, and then I'm going to put in my pork. Yeah, my rice is doing pretty good. Let's see. Okay, starting to get a crust on the bottom side of my rice, which is perfectly fine. Oh, I forgot to wash that. Well, gosh. Okay, I can stay in the pan. I'm going to move this. Okay. Okay, so we've got the corn and the rice. We're now heating this up for the pork. Pork. We've got the eggplant and the acorn squash doing its thing. Now for this hot oil, I'm actually going to throw in some of the green onion. Because green onion is a beautiful thing, but you know, I want to give it a little bit of flavor. Oh, no, that's, well, yeah, you know what? We'll go with the smoked salt today. I was thinking black truffle salt, but, you know. Okay, let that brown up, caramelize up. Ooh, that did not need to be super oil. Okay. Now this is going to cook in minutes. When I say minutes, I mean minutes. Haha, welcome my dance. Yep, I'm a nerd. Okay. So we've been cooking now for not even quite 25 minutes and I'm almost done. Probably much quicker if I wasn't, you know, talking to people, but it's all good. Okay. I know you're probably asking me, what are you doing with the fork? Okay, so if you gently put a fork through salt, you're only going to get tiny, tiny amounts that stay on the tines. And then it's just so easy to tap it with your finger and it seasons. Because my hands are still slightly wet and I don't want to get my salt wet. Smells so good. Oh my god, I wish you guys could smell this. Okay, so while this is finishing off real quick, I'm going to go ahead and plate up. And basically all I'm going to do is turn off the heat on that. Now if I had an open grill, I'd let it go to char, because I like a little bit of char on the edges. But I also enjoy rare. Okay, so we're going to plate up just a touch. Okay. So, a little bit of the eggplant and squash. Pardon that you can't see everything exactly as I'm doing it. So I have handles in the way apparently. Okay. Yay! I was hoping for some char on the corn, which I actually got. Yay! Okay, whoops. I swear that looks darker on my screen than it does here in real life, so. So, we've got the corn, a little bit more of the eggplant would be nice. Okay. Corn, eggplant, already looks like a very good dish. So I'm just gonna take the pork, give it a couple of rolls. Now, if you need more protein in your diet, by all means, do more pork or chicken or whatever protein is best for you. This is truthfully a huge meal. This is going to take me hours to eat, but it looks so good. So what can I say? Okay, I'm going to get the last of the green onions out on here. There you go. I'm pretty much done, and I might go and throw some basil on this. A nice aromatic is always great to have. But yeah, as you see, took me under 30 minutes. I do this for myself every day, or as often as I can, and we got good food. So if you'd like to find me, you can find me on Twitch. You can find me on Instagram as Raven About Bento. Twitch is Dame Red Bento, because I do some more stuff on there. Yeah, you can find me all over the place. And by all means, please leave a comment, ask for things that you'd like to see done, but that maybe you're a little afraid of trying to handle on your own. Okay, have a good one. Bye. Okay. And I'm not sure how to stop this.